looked like a fever dream.
That looked.
See, the way like the two dudes were drinking from the same.
I don't know if I would buy
bottle.
the beer, but it did make me laugh. There was a recent AI-generated ad that required no real actors, cinematographers, and on-screen crews. It relied only on AI software. This development raises significant questions about the future of the film industry. That's a very good point. How do you anticipate these methods impacting the industry? Do you believe such practices are sustainable, or could they potentially lead to job losses or give rise to fairness concerns within the industry?
I guess I just want to know like how successful that ad even is and how it's recepted by the public, because sure, you can do all these things and replace all these jobs, but we as people are very adaptable, and like we're spontaneous. If things happen on set that go wrong, I feel like we have the tools and the knowledge to be able to quickly change route and just go with the flow. And I don't know if AI has the ability to do that yet. I feel like it's still very structured and, again, based on data, but we can kind of just change course if we need to.
I think it's fascinating to see it do that, but I'd also love to know how effective was that commercial. Yeah, it's great. They can put together a commercial, and I've seen like the programs that can literally just make a video for you. And I know companies that are utilizing it, but I'd like to know, are those videos effective? Right. Because you look at some of the best commercials, and they're, if it's not the Budweiser puppies, it's usually something that has some humor to it, or is personable or relatable. And can AI do that? And I think is a big question. Right now, I would say no, but will it get there? Probably.
It's scary to know how many, I guess because of the rate it's going, how many jobs it can take over at the same time, especially in the commercial space, because the commercial space, that industry works so fast, and a lot of them do follow a formula. But then there's a bunch of new creatives in the commercial world that are coming out with some really great visuals and some really great way of telling a story through like a 30-second space or a 15-second space. So it's again hard to quantify what is allowable, but then also what sells.
I think that's the key question. What sells? Because if we're being more receptive to the AI stuff, then
and if it sells,
we're in a world of hurt. But
that's the downfall.
Which is wild. I think, how's it affecting different jobs in the industry? I think at our company, we've actually tried to embrace it in many ways. Copywriting is one of the ones where we usually do a lot of the brainstorming and copyright work ourselves. And then we use ChatGPT to either consolidate it all or tweak it. It's also a great spell check and grammar check. So sometimes it'll be just rewrite this for us, but we'll still do a lot of the heavy lifting to get us there. And then we put it in there to tweak it and then use that on certain pitch decks.
What is the right move forward? Because I feel like it boils down to that question. If people are afraid of being replaced by AI or by someone who's using AI, because that drives like for me, for example, when it first came out, I had two responses. I was like, this is amazing. This is going to save me a lot of time. And at the same time, I was like, I should get on top of this before someone else learns it, and then they have an advantage over me. And so I use it for visual references. I use it for a lot of things, especially visual research when I'm preparing for a shoot or getting storyboard sort of references. But at the same time, I always find that it's limited in a way that I always fall back to getting references from movies that I know and movies that affected me. Because it has that feeling, like when you see a shot in a way or a camera motion in a way that it gives you a certain feeling, you cannot really replicate that. It lives with you, that first experience seeing in a film. And again, it's what is it gathering all of this source material, and at what point it's gonna start sourcing itself? Because we're using it so much, it's gonna be at some point sourcing stuff that it's made by AI as well. It's just gonna be a loop. So how do we introduce originality again, sort of?
we see it now. 5 years from now, they're gonna look like the ads that we make now. So it's scary that it's come that far and it literally generated human beings. Interesting they chose Shrek as that soundtrack, but I'm gonna have to sleep on that. That's really terrifying.
I think the sound part is what's like the most freaky, because that's what like gets us to engage and laugh with it, as we hear them laughing, right? And the sound, and that's all created by AI. So that's what's like terrifying. And I think right now, there's someone who released a Drake album, but it was made with AI, and now Drake's trying to like sue them or something. But they literally were able to just process, or the AI was able to just go and like somehow process all the Drake music out there and then just make new songs that were Drake's voice. And I know it's like, apparently it's as good as, it could listen to you talk on the phone for 3 seconds and then be able to completely take your voice. And
oh my God.
It's scary.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying because it really brings into question the legalities of, the ownership of your own likeness.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's also interesting because like when you do sign a contract to be an actor in a project, you do give away the likeness and appearance and all that stuff. But I was going to say, like, it's important to educate people on AI, because if a kid watched that and they assumed that was real, that's what's scary. Is if they're like, oh, like, is that what I'm supposed to look like? Especially a girl who's like trying to figure out her body image at this point, or a guy who's like, is that what girls like? Or, like, there's just so many things that young kids are going through just in life, and to watch ads that are unrealistic in a lot of ways, it's concerning. So I think education is the number one thing that needs to be prioritized in addition to regulation.